I almost forgot to start.
Okay, sorry. What will I remember, or what do I remember about my first practice? I remember being terrified, absolutely terrified. I was an 8th grader, and all the high schoolers were so big and scary, and Miles was so scary. I don't remember much else. I was blinded by terror. So, I know Katie and I tried out our first year together, like 8th grade, and then I made the team, and she kept calling me Katie, so I think she thought I was Katie Stover for like the first 2 months, which she says didn't happen, but I know that it did because I remember. And I kept telling Leah to ask her to change it because it was up on the best time sheet. I was Katie Herda, and I kept telling Leah because Leah was less scary, and I was like, "Can you tell Miles to change it?" And she's like, "Yeah, sure." And then I don't know if she forgot or Miles forgot or whatever, but I was too scared to ask. But anyway, that's what I remember about my first practice last season, I guess.
I remember my first practice vividly. I was also terrified, as Kate said, but I remember I got there, and I realized I didn't have a cap. This was back when we didn't have our practice caps for Wayzata, so we all had to bring our own caps, and I realized I didn't have one. And my friend Emily Sherman, she had 2 Auburn caps, and she's like, "Oh, just take one of mine." So we're wearing our Auburn caps, swimming, and we're just doing what the coaches are saying, and then Miles comes up to us, and she's like, "What are your names?" And we tell her, we're like, "Oh, we're Megan and Emily." She's like, "No Auburn in this pool. We don't like Auburn." And then I thought she was actually mad at us, so I was like, "Oh my gosh." I was like, I can't believe she got mad at us for our caps. And so then after Emily and I are in the locker room, we're like, "Oh, that couldn't have gone worse. She already hates us because of our caps." I mean, I realize now she's just probably trying to figure out a way to remember our names, like, "Oh, you're the Auburn girls." And that was terrifying. I already thought that Miles hated us just because of the caps that we were wearing. But I mean, it turned out okay. So yeah.
My first practice, I just remember I wasn't that scared because I was trying out for diving, and I remember seeing Tessa in the stands. And before that, we had done Mach 3 flyer swimming together, and we had known each other through gymnastics before that, so we met each other there. And then I remember we both saw each other at the swimming the first day of tryouts, and then all of a sudden we both thought each of us were trying out for swimming, and then Miles was like, "Okay, divers, go over with Mike," or I think it was Mark that was coach that year, and then both of us got up and we looked at each other and we were like, "Wait, you dive too?" Because we both thought we just were swimmers, and then turns out we both do both, so that was funny.
My first practice, I wore a yellow, I don't know what was on the cap, it was a yellow cap. It wasn't a Trojan cap, it was just a yellow cap. And I did the practices, the 9-300s or whatever it is, with the kick set.
Yeah.
And it was a pretty good practice, I felt pretty good. And then in dryland the next day, Miles was like, "You're the one in the yellow cap, right?" And I was like, "Yeah." And she's like, "You look good at practice yesterday." And I was like, "Yes." It was a pretty big accomplishment in my book for my first year.
I remember my first practice, I was also terrified, and so I got there what I thought was super early, and then when I walked in the pool, everyone was already sitting in the bleachers.
Oh my
I was
god.
like, "Oh my god, I'm so late," but I wasn't. And then I was so scared, so I went in the lane with the girls who looked the least intimidating, and they couldn't even swim. I don't know, it was just not a good practice.
That's the scariest thing when you walk in the pool and everybody's sitting down. You're like, "Oh my god."